The air crackled with excitement. Laughter echoed through the crowded stalls. The annual town festival buzzed with life. Mark, a tall, imposing figure with weary eyes, scanned the joyous scene. A wave of dizziness hit him as he spotted a man, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat weaving through the crowd. The man clutched a worn leather bag. Mark's hand instinctively went to the burn scar hidden beneath his jacket. The man stopped at a stall, his back to Mark. He pulled out a doll, its porcelain face eerily blank, and handed it to a little girl with bright, innocent eyes. The girl's mother, oblivious to the man's strangeness, smiled and thanked him. The man melted back into the crowd, vanishing like a phantom. Mark's heart pounded.
I knew that doll, I knew its secret, and I knew it didn't belong in the hands of an innocent child.
5 years ago, Mark's world had shattered. A fiery explosion, a deafening roar, and then only silence. The silence of loss. The arsonist was never caught, the case went cold. But Mark never forgot the charred doll found clutched in his daughter's lifeless hand. It was identical to the one he had just seen. Haunted by the past, fueled by an insatiable need for justice, Mark had dedicated his life to understanding the pattern of arson cases across the state. He had pored over countless files, each one a painful reminder of his own tragedy. The dolls, always appearing at the scene, became a morbid obsession. They were his only clue, a chilling calling card. Tonight, he had a chance to stop history from repeating itself. He had to reach that little girl before it was too late. The festive music grated on Mark's nerves as he stalked through the crowd. He caught glimpses of the little girl, her laughter echoing like a siren's call, drawing him deeper into the heart of the festival. The man with the hat was nowhere to be seen. He stopped at a stall selling hand-painted toys. A sign above read, "The Toy Maker's Delights." An old man with kind eyes and a gentle smile greeted him.
Looking for something special, just browsing.
Mark forced a smile, his eyes scanning the stall. Several dolls, their painted eyes staring blankly, were displayed prominently. Mark's gaze lingered on a half-finished doll, its porcelain face still white and featureless. The old man followed his gaze.
A work in progress, each one unique, crafted with love.
Mark nodded, a chill running down his spine. Was it possible? Could this kindly old man be the face behind the sinister calling cards? Mark lingered near the toy maker's stall, his eyes darting around, searching for any sign, any clue. The old man continued his work, humming a cheerful tune. But Mark couldn't shake the feeling of unease. He noticed a strange, pungent smell emanating from the stall, like burning chemicals masked by cheap perfume. He saw the old man glance at his watch, a flicker of something dark crossing his face. The old man then packed a doll, identical to the one given to the little girl, into a box. But this box was different. It had a strange device attached to it, wires protruding from its side. The music stopped. The crowd hushed. The announcement came.
Fireworks finale in 10 minutes by the lake.
The old man smiled, a chillingly empty expression. He hoisted the box, the one with the strange device, and began walking towards the lake, towards the unsuspecting crowd.
My blood ran cold, the pieces clicked into place. The dolls weren't just calling cards. They were part of something bigger, something more sinister.
Mark knew what that device was. He had seen it before in his investigations. It was a remote detonator.
The old man, the toy maker, wasn't just a craftsman. He was a monster using his creations to spread terror. And the fireworks finale, it wasn't a celebration, it was a target.
Mark had to act fast. He pushed through the crowd, his heart pounding against his ribs. He had to reach the little girl, get her away from the crowd. He had to stop the toy maker before it was too late.
I could hear the countdown in my head, every tick of the clock, a hammer blow to my sanity. 10 minutes, 9, 8.
Section 6, hidden in plain sight. Unmasking the deception, revealing the threat. In a world where appearances can be deceiving, the truth often hides in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to be unveiled. The crowd surged towards the lake, eager for the fireworks spectacle. Families, friends, and strangers alike gathered, their faces lit with anticipation and joy, unaware of the lurking danger.
Battling against the tide of people, he scanned frantically for the little girl. His heart pounded in his chest, each second feeling like an eternity as he pushed through the throng. His eyes darted from one smiling face to another, each happy family a painful reminder of his own loss. The laughter and cheer around him contrasted sharply with his inner turmoil, and then he saw her, clutching the doll, her eyes wide with wonder as she gazed at the fireworks being prepped. The innocence in her eyes was a stark reminder of what was at stake.
Mark pushed his way through the last of the crowd, his voice hoarse as he shouted, desperation clear in his tone. He knew he had to act fast.
Get away from the fireworks! It's not safe!
His voice cut through the noise, but only a few turned to look, confusion and fear spreading among them.
The little girl looked up, startled. Her innocent eyes met his, and for a moment time seemed to stand still. Her mother, annoyed by the interruption, turned to scold Mark. She didn't understand the urgency, the danger that was so close. That's when he saw him. The figure that had haunted his nightmares, the man responsible for so much pain, the toy maker standing at the edge of the crowd, his hand reaching into his coat. The sinister smile on his face sent chills down Mark's spine. In his hand, Mark saw the detonator. Mark didn't hesitate. He knew he had only one chance to prevent a catastrophe. He lunged, knocking the little girl and her mother to the ground just as the toy maker triggered the device. The explosion that followed was deafening, but Mark's quick action had saved lives. Section 7, Confrontation and Chaos, a desperate struggle to prevent disaster. A deafening roar ripped through the air as the first firework exploded overhead. The crowd gasped, mistaking the explosion for the start of the show. But Mark knew better. He struggled with the toy maker, the old man's strength surprising.
The detonator fell from his grasp, skidding across the grass.
You won't stop me, he hissed, his eyes filled with a cold, calculating rage. They'll all burn.
Mark slammed his fist into the toy maker's jaw, sending him sprawling. He scrambled for the detonator, his fingers closing around its cold, metallic surface. Another explosion rocked the night, closer this time. The crowd began to panic, their festive cheer turning to screams of terror as they realized something was wrong. Mark, clutching the detonator, dragged the struggling toy maker away from the crowd, away from the deadly fireworks. Section 8. The Price of Truth. Justice served, but at a cost. This chapter delves into the complexities of justice and the heavy toll it can exact on everyone involved. They crashed into a vendor's stall, toppling tables and sending souvenirs scattering. The once bustling market was now a scene of chaos and destruction. Mark, his ears ringing from the commotion, saw the crazed look in the toy maker's eyes. It was a look that spoke volumes of his inner turmoil and madness. He saw the burning hatred, the twisted satisfaction that seemed to fuel the toy maker's every move. It was a chilling sight.
Why? He roared, his voice hoarse with anger and pain. Why these families? Why these children? His questions echoed through the market, demanding answers.
The toy maker spat blood, a chilling smile spreading across his face. It was a smile that held no remorse, only a twisted sense of victory. They took everything from me, he rasped, his voice filled with a lifetime of pain and loss. My family, my livelihood, my dreams. Each word was a dagger, revealing the depth of his suffering. Now they will all burn. His declaration was filled with a vengeful fury that sent chills down Mark's spine.
Mark felt a surge of disgust mixed with a strange, unsettling pity. He couldn't help but feel a twinge of empathy for the man who had lost so much. He saw the security guards approaching, their faces grim, their hands hovering near their weapons. The tension in the air was palpable.
It's over, he said, his voice devoid of emotion. The weight of the situation had drained him of all feeling.
The toy maker lunged, a last desperate attempt to reach the scattered fireworks. A gunshot rang out, echoing through the market. The toy maker crumpled to the ground, his eyes staring blankly at the sky. The chaos had ended, but the cost of justice was painfully clear. Section 9. Scars and echoes, the aftermath and the weight of vigilance. The air hung heavy with the smell of gunpowder and fear. It was a scene of chaos where the remnants of the conflict still lingered, casting long shadows over the hearts of those who had witnessed it. The crowd, herded away by the authorities, moved like a single terrified organism. Their faces were etched with panic, their movements frantic as they sought safety in numbers, hoping to escape the nightmare that had unfolded. Mark watched them go, the detonator feeling heavy in his hand. It was a weight that symbolized the burden of his actions, the choices he had made in the heat of the moment. The fireworks, their deadly purpose neutralized, continued to explode in the distance, a hollow spectacle. They were meant to bring joy, but now they only served as a grim reminder of what could have been.
He'd stopped the toy maker, prevented a tragedy. The confrontation had been intense, a battle of wits and wills that left him drained. But the victory felt hollow. The cost had been too high. The loss is too great to celebrate. His daughter was still gone. The emptiness of her room echoed in his heart, a constant reminder of the void that could never be filled. And the world, he realized, was a darker, more dangerous place than he had ever imagined. The shadows seemed deeper, the threats more insidious, lurking just out of sight.
As the police swarmed around him, their questions washing over him like a cold wave, he felt a sense of detachment. Their words were distant, their concerns secondary to the turmoil within him. Mark knew this was not the end. It was merely another chapter in an unending story, a story that demanded vigilance, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to justice. A story of loss, of justice, of the constant struggle against the shadows that lurked beneath the surface of everyday life. Each day brought new challenges, new battles to be fought. He was no hero, he knew that. He was just a man, scarred by tragedy, driven by a need to protect the innocent from the monsters that walked among them. His scars were a testament to his battles, both won and lost. And he would continue to fight, even if it meant facing his demons every step of the way. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but he was resolute, determined to see it through. For Mark knew with a chilling certainty that the echoes of that night, of the toy maker's madness, would stay with him forever. They were a part of him now, woven into the fabric of his being, a constant reminder of the price of vigilance.